All right, it is media day. We are talking 21-6A with the Atascocita head coach, Craig Stump. Coach, I appreciate you joining me, especially knowing the district that you're in. You're getting Beaumont United to move up with you guys, but it's still, that probably won't affect the top of the district, which is probably the most top-heavy district in the state. Talk about what you feel it's gonna probably go down and help you get through to a district title in this district, what you're gonna need to do.
Well, number one, you always have to stay healthy, and that's just not something you can control. And I think that, as a coach, that's something that you worry about because you want to control, everything. And that's one thing you can't control. But we tell our kids we want to be at the top level of 6A Division I. And so my philosophy is play at it, even if it's all 10 games. I've been on the other side of that where we're in a very, very weak district, and our starters only play maybe like a half and maybe one series of the third quarter. And we won district, and we got into the first round of the playoffs and playing a fourth place team and struggled. We won the game, but we struggled. But our guys, we figured out that through that season, our starters only really played time-wise like 6.5 games,
right,
instead of 10. And so I'm all for, the harder the better, win or lose, whatever, it makes them better.
Absolutely, man. A perfect example of that last year was Fort Bend Marshall. They coasted through their district and probably played 6.5 games with their starters, and then got beat at home by Barbers Hill. It's a tough deal there. I mean, obviously you want to win games, but you don't want to, you want to be competitive as well.
Yes, you do. I just soon play it out. That's why I'm playing Katie and team from Vegas and all this. Let's play. It's fun.
Yeah, especially when the losses don't really matter, right? Not until you get to take your play. It's all about getting better. You also addressed injury and staying healthy. And, I shot both of your games up here in North Texas. The first one against Allen was such a program-defining win, and I have a documentary full of Gavin Session to Chase Soul touchdown passes coming right at me. I could probably put a little short 30 for 30 together on that. But then the next time you come up against Geyer, you have to use Zion, and I'm assuming to you it's kind of a blessing and a curse. You obviously did not want to use Zion that early, but now that you did, and he played eight games, I believe, as a starter, he's got to be ready for his next 2 years, and you probably saw some development. Talk about how much, with Zion's playing a majority of last year, how that may have helped him out for this year and the year after.
Well, I mean, it just, the execution of the plays is not the thing. He knows if you asked him last year as a sophomore going into the game, what are we trying to do on this play, he'd tell you. But when you're out there on the field by yourself and the band's playing and all this stuff's going on and you feel like you need to be, you're the quarterback and all those intangible things that you don't get watching. And and he was great about sitting there, and he was attentive at practice and meetings. And I've been a backup quarterback. It's not the same, when you're playing in front of 90,000 people or 100,000 people at A&M, and you're the backup. Oh yeah, I know what to do. And then all of a sudden, guy goes down and you go in. It's kind of like, oh my God, do I know what to do? What's the snap count? And so all of those things just. And you could tell, like, each game that went on, he just got better and better and better and better and better. And so for this year, just from a confidence level, having been in that environment, benefits him greatly.
Yeah, the confidence has got to be a major thing, and he's got to be confident with the guys behind him in the backfield, because you got a couple good running backs as well. Maybe talk a little bit about, I know you're going to replace the biggest guy we're seeing on the offensive line there with Dewberry, but you're going to replace him. But just talk about your offensive line and maybe your running game for this upcoming season.
Yeah, no, we're excited about it. Nate Kibble, who is going to be a tackle that's going to play college football, and Christian Cruikshank. So there's 3 starters coming back on that. and then 2 guys that were backups. And in the offensive line, if you get 3 guys that have played before and have experience and know what to do, and it helps the other 2. Very rarely do you ever have 5 returning offensive linemen, right? But they're going to be a solid group, I think. And as far as the running back and the backfield goes, with Torrey Blaylock, and he's difference making fast. And he's got size, and Zion can also run. So it's like having 2 running backs back there all the time. One of them can really throw. So now we're excited about the running game with that. With Torrey, he played a little bit as a freshman, but now he'll be a sophomore, and he'll, along with Justin Montgomery, and I think we'll be solid there.
Awesome. And a little bit on the defense, I'm not going to try to pronounce the name, but you're big tackle that I'm hoping that you have a nickname for, that you don't have to spit it out. But talk about how good you guys may be in the trenches on the defensive side of the ball, and maybe your front seven.
Yeah, we're excited about that. We had our leader on the defense, Jaden Dukos, is our middle linebacker, and he played. If you ask him, unfortunately, he got indoctrinated during the COVID with no off season and no summer work, no spring training. He had to go up to Allen as a true sophomore and play, and that was a welcome to 6A. But he's been there, and he's a leader on the team, and he's a middle linebacker. And then Samu, our nose guard, he's down to 372. Last year when he played, he was 415 when you saw him play against Geyer and those guys. And he still moved like he was probably 370. So at 370, hopefully he moves like he's 300, But he's worked hard and he's lost weight. Because he played 40 plays. We're trying to get him to play 70 plays, And so him and the other guys on the defensive line, the front seven should be a solid group.
You look at last year, 11-3. 3 losses were teams that were in the state, played the last day of the year. So it's not something to hang your head about. And a lot of people like to put that Allen game as a program-defining win. I don't necessarily say that, but I do say it's one of the bigger wins because Allen doesn't lose at home. And you guys came up there and you didn't just beat them. You kind of really handled that game once Gavin and Chase got into a flow there. It was, they had no answers for anything. So talk about the way your season went last year. Did you feel like that Allen one kind of propelled you into the way you guys played the rest of the season, or is that just what the fans say and you were just like, another win, let's get on to the next one?
Well, yeah, I mean, as a coach you do that, but in your brain, it was to go up there and beat a team that hadn't lost in 100-something games, right? No, that is a big win. People like to say all wins are big. Well, there's some that are bigger than others, and that was a big win. And we've had big wins before that game. And we beat North Shore a couple times and won district championship and all those kind of things. And we've won over 10 games for, 9 years. So I don't think it was a program defining moment. I just think it was as a product of having been in that environment before the year before, and they beat us by 40. And the kids knowing all year coming back that we're going back up there and what it's going to take to do. And so I think it's a product of being in that environment. But I think it was no doubt it was a big win. But did we forget about it and move on? I think so. And I just think it's being in that situation, that confidence that I think they know as a coach, you treat it like, now that game doesn't mean you're going to win this game. But to downplay the fact that it was just a same old is, I don't think that's true.
It's true. And then the kids kind of stayed on the field for a little longer just to suck in the win and absorb it.
Yeah, no, they knew it was a big game. It's a big game. It'd be no different than, it's like saying, winning a semifinal game, going to state championship is just another game, no big deal. Well, it is a big deal,
right?
But you're not going to let it affect the next week. But it's a big deal.
Absolutely. I guess finally, your bugaboo last year was North Shore. Of course, you got them twice. You ended up losing them twice. You may actually end up playing them twice again this year.
Hope so.
And it always seems like they're trying to do something to one up. Oh, he's going to start a sophomore. Well, I'm starting a freshman at quarterback. You know how that works. But talk about how you guys may try to get past them. I know playing teams like Katy and Dickinson, that's going to go a long way in helping that situation. But to get past North Shore, who's now got 3 of the last 4 state titles, what's it going to take? And are you guys ready for that task?
Yeah, I think we'll be ready for that. And we're only 7 miles apart, and the kids know each other. We didn't do it this summer, but in summers past we've gone. They either come up to us or we go to them, and we kind of get together and do a little 7-on-7 stuff against each other. So we know each other, and John and those guys, they're a great staff, and I think we've played them. Well, they've won the last 3. We won 2 before that. We beat them in the 4th round and went to the semifinals. And then the next year we beat them in district and won district championship. And then they beat us the last 3 times. So we're 2-3 the last 5 times. So, I think it's a feeling of, we're on that level. It's just the way the game works, and they were close games this year. And I think they'll be close again. I think there's mutual respect there, and we enjoy playing each other.
I was going to say, it's funny you bring that up. Not a lot of people have that feeling you guys got. Like, hey, we can do it. We got it done before, so it's not a big deal. Whereas just about every other team in the state's like, we haven't done it before, so I don't know how we're going to do it. But you guys know you can get it done, so that'll make the games more exciting.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
I appreciate you joining us. It's always going to be one of the exciting districts for us. We always end up having 21-6A almost every Saturday on the show, and I assume it's going to happen again this year because you guys have a lot of good talent there. So good luck during the season. I appreciate you joining us.